Why is AIPAC so controversial?
Do you really want to take on AIPAC? Because we have a reputation.
This might be my only opening.
Okay, strap in. The first thing that you need to understand is the difference between traditional lobbyist organizations and us. Most lobbyists are businesses that make money representing clients.
But you found a loophole?
AIPAC is an ideologically based lobbyist nonprofit that's funded by donors, functionally similar to the NRA.
It's just instead of being pro-firearms, you're pro-Israel?
Nope, we are for the advancement of the US-Israeli relationship in ways that enhance security for both countries.
But you only lobby here?
Correct.
Not in Israel?
No.
Kind of seems a little one-sided, doesn't it?
Listen, we represent the interest of Americans, not the Israeli government.
Because representing a foreign government means that you'd have to register under FARA.
Correct, and that would be bad.
So that's the controversy? Should I really care that much about a government regulation?
Well, the regulation's only part of it. The thing is that we have extraordinary bipartisan influence over US politics. We are very motivated and very effective at shaping Congress.
Which is why you donate so much to re-election campaigns. But I mean, that's pretty common for lobbyists, right?
Nope, we don't donate. We have a very unique relationship with our wealthy donors where if we tell them to support a candidate, they show up.
Oh, because of the campaign contribution limits. You've got way more power if you've got 100 people with $5 grand to give than one person with 500.
Exactly. Our ability to wield our donors is how we fund campaigns, our super PAC, even a nonprofit that makes all of this possible that we'll talk about later, but they are the bread and butter of our power.
Which you use to shape Congress.
Yeah, we keep scorecards on different representatives, how you vote on things. If you piss us off, we will punish you.
Oh, what, like ex-Mossad?
Huh? Oh, no, we primary you.
What does that mean?
We have our super PAC, UDP, back your opponent in the next primary.
That can't be that effective, right? Especially if you're going after an incumbent?
It is wildly effective. UDP spends more money in Democratic primaries than any other super PAC. Most of the time, if UDP backs a candidate, they win.
Well, why are you so focused on Democratic primaries?
Well, there seems to be a growing problem with anti-Semitism in progressive circles. Take, for example, Jamal Bowman or Andy Levin.
Oh, right. I remember that. They were both critical of Israel. They supported conditions on aid. You backed both of their opponents and they both lost, but I can't find anything they said that was anti-Semitic.
We never said they did.
You just did.
No, I didn't. We did the same thing during the election. We put out an ad talking about a rise in anti-Semitism, and then we asked viewers, are you going to stand up to Jamal Bowman?
It's just a heavy insinuation.
You asked why we're controversial, and I warned you about making this video.
It kind of feels like you're weaponizing a really important word as a way to avoid accountability, which is then cheapening the word itself.
Are you justifying anything bad towards us?
Unequivocally, no. What I am saying is that I'm going to get plenty of that comment for trying to have a conversation that at its core is about an organization that looks like it might potentially be influencing our government on behalf of a foreign government.
You love wading into controversial topics, don't you?
Also, no, I hate making these videos. You have no idea how much diarrhea I get.
Don't you ever wonder why progressive policies can be so popular, like taxing billionaires, but getting progressive candidates elected can be so hard?
Well, whenever you talk about progressive policies, some people start calling you a communist.
Or worse. And remember, AIPAC's super PAC spends more money in Democratic primaries than any other super PAC, usually targeting progressive candidates. And most of the time, we win.
Jesus. So not only is AIPAC making sure that Congress is pro-Israel, but you're actively holding back wildly popular progressive policies by primarying progressive politicians.
Well, not pro-Israel. It's very important that we don't look like we're coordinating with the Israeli government.
Right, because of FARA. Honestly though, like, why do I even care if you're following some crusty old government regulation anyways?
We are following it because we are not lobbying Congress on behalf of a foreign government.
Oh, sure.
We have massive influence over US politics, and you should care because registering under FARA means more scrutiny.
Right, no, I get that. I guess I'm asking, if AIPAC registered under FARA, are we just getting more insight into bad shit that you get to keep doing?
Did you know that the NRA spent $50 million lobbying in 2016?
It's a lot of money.
But by 2022, it was down to 15.
Okay. Why do I care about the NRA?
Remember, we are functionally similar to the NRA, and when the NRA started facing investigations and public backlash, it tainted an already controversial brand.
You're saying that more insight would hurt your image?
It wouldn't look great. FARA would mean mandatory disclosures around things like donors, media campaigns, or communications with elected officials.
Oh, and people would be afraid to donate because they wouldn't want to be associated with you.
Something's telling me that the donors of AIPAC probably wouldn't be swayed too much by bad publicity.
But we could make Bernard Marcus, co-founder of Home Depot, longtime donor to AIPAC and the right-wing causes, a test subject.
What's more likely is that members of Congress will be hesitant to be associated with AIPAC.
Which means less influence, maybe even potentially getting a few more progressive candidates into Congress.
Congress might be more likely to put conditions on aid packages or be more critical of things that Israel or AIPAC are doing.
I guess I'm not fully understanding that. Why would they be more vocal?
Well, do you remember being worried about getting a bunch of comments calling you anti-Semitic just for talking about this?
And then that gave me really bad indigestion.
Congress is 10 times as scared as you are about pissing people off because that means losing votes.
I don't know about that.
Because I really fucking hate it. But when you have full visibility and receipts into how an organization is coordinating with bipartisan government officials, running media campaigns, that gives you a shield.
You're saying that it's harder for AIPAC to avoid criticism when everything's laid out. What are you doing to influence US politics, and what is your relationship with Israel?
And that is why we still need to talk about the trips that we send Congress on.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
Oh,
To us, he's just a parishioner.
I don't care. Are you saying that AIPAC sending Congress to Israel is the proof that the Israeli government is influencing US politics?
Technically, we are not sending those 40 to 60 members of Congress to Israel every year.
40 to 60?
That is all done by AIEF,
Who's AIEF?
an educational nonprofit.
Your educational nonprofit?
I will maintain legal and rhetorical distance from that.
Do they do other educational things besides these trips?
No, not really.
Okay. So Congress tries to make AIEF happy so they can go on the trip?
Not exactly. We're still on the lookout for members of key committees, freshmen that are on the fence about Israel, and then most of them end up going in August when Congress is on recess.
But since you're not sending them, this is the point where you hand the list over to AEIF.
Not yet. We still have to plan some things like messaging or speaker lineups, site visits, prep briefing packets, things like that.
And once that's done, since you're not sending them, you are taking a step back?
Not quite. We still have to train AIEF staff on how to guide the trip or what we want the takeaway to be.
Doing a lot of planning for a trip that you're not responsible for, but I am confident in saying that you're certainly not going with them.
No. Not as official AIPAC staff, we go as educational support.
So you use an educational nonprofit that doesn't do other education to send members of Congress on educational trips to Israel for you, but you still end up doing the planning, and you even send your own employees as educational resources?
There's a revolving door of staff and board members between our two organizations.
Did you create AIEF?
We won't deny it, but we also won't draw attention to it. I will say this. In addition to our incestuous staffing relationship, we have also explicitly pointed our donors to fund AIEF. And there's also a fair amount of evidence showing that we are legally separate, but functionally intertwined.
And these educational trips, they're just luxury vacations that are designed to get around ethical violations?
No, I mean, spouses of representatives are absolutely getting luxury trips, fancy flights, fancy hotels, fancy food, but the representatives themselves are actually quite productive. They're going on site visits, visiting with the military, meeting with politicians, sometimes even the prime minister.
Wait a minute. You're not allowed to coordinate with the Israeli government.
Correct, we are not.
Then that's the smoking gun. You should have to register under FARA.
I'm not doing anything.
Yes, you are. You're sending sitting U.S. Congress members to Israel to meet with the military and politicians. I mean, you're literally coordinating with the Israeli government.
No, I'm not.
AIEF.
AIEF.
You plan it, but they officially coordinate and book everything.
Jesus.
Okay, so
Registering under FARA would provide us insight into how you operate, your relationship with AIEF, and your link with the Israeli government. But without that insight, it's really hard to prove your link with the Israeli government, which is the thing that we need to make sure that you register for FARA. I'll maintain legal and rhetorical distance from that. You said that your mission was to promote the U.S.-Israeli relationship in ways that strengthen security for both countries. That's an important distinction. Do you ever push Congress to support resolutions that the Israeli government is not in favor of? Not usually. If the U.S. gave Israel financial or military support without conditions, and that was used for war crimes, wouldn't that create a security threat for the United States? Well, you can't commit war crimes if no one credible is accusing you of war crimes.